all I want to do, really, is look with a couple of few English and
Yeah.
try and see what the ticket situation is.
Yeah.
And Jason knows just the place.
Yeah, you can go to any city in the land.
We are surrounded by Chelsea supporters, and Jason is in his element. If I needed further proof that Jason had taken me under his wing, I got it.
Says they're not being known. But when you get a little places like Hampton Hill, first time I ever saw you two, I thought they were at it. First thing.
By at it, Jason meant I was up to no good.
No, mate.
Jason knows it's my first time abroad with Chelsea, and he wants to tell me about the history of the headhunters.
I like the way she sees.
When they done the first football race, they done the first football race 10 years ago, man. His brother got 10 years for football races. He got £100,000 compensation for fabricated evidence. He done 4 years. His brother's a well-known kidman. His other brother just got killed not long ago with an Emma. No, big brow, yeah.
Jason was talking about the so-called own goal trials, the result of the last big attempt by the police to target hooligans with an undercover operation back in the 1980s. Some Chelsea fans were jailed, but then set free with substantial compensation payments after the police evidence was questioned. The cost was enormous and put an end to large-scale police undercover operations of that kind. Those freed included Terry Last, another of Jason's close friends.
Terry Last was a solicitor's clerk. He got £180,000. My mate, Vince Straight, right? He got 75 grand or so.
Jason is now in full flow and tells me other stories.
His brother, if you read any football book, anything like that, he's probably the most well-known football thug you'll ever come across. Lives in the Philippines.
His stories are cut short only by his enthusiasm for the task in hand.
Here we go, we come here to have a war!
I don't want to have a war, but I can't say goodbye to Jason as we have tickets together for the game. Inside the ground, I stick as close as possible to Jason so that all the other Chelsea assume that I am his friend. There is plenty for Jason to be pleased about as his team scored the winner. But even now, I'm not sure I'm cheering convincingly. Halfway through the match, Jason and his friends produce an offensive banner. Their aim is to cause trouble, and they succeed. But in true Mariner style, it's the man standing next to Jason who gets arrested, while Jason stays to wallow in the glory. I'm beginning to understand what hooliganism is all about. For a few brief moments, Jason is king of the terraces. The Danish police sensed that arresting Jason would only cause more trouble. The next day, the headlines said it all. Jason starts making Nazi salutes in an attempt to wind up the Stuarts. But Jason's fascist salute is more than just show. I've learned that he has close links with the far-right group, Combat 18, links he shares with a small group of other headhunters.
One of the first things the police found when C18 came into existence around 92 was visiting cards from Chelsea headhunter C18. People were assaulted, very seriously assaulted. Pubs were attacked and smashed up with the occupants. Men, women and children were attacked by these gangs, and they'd leave behind a calling card that would say you've been visited by Chelsea headhunters Combat 18. So from the very earliest days of Combat 18, the Chelsea headhunters like Frayne and this crew were in there operating with them.
In a bar after the game, he describes a visit he and Andy Frayne made to the Nazi concentration camp at Auschwitz.
They're having a tour thing, right? And they're talking to all these Jerrys about what happened, blah, blah. There he is, finally. He said, we'll take a photograph, Chase. There he is. Well, the Jerrys start going, didn't they? Fuck off, it's what I believe in. Yeah, stay there. Well, where's the turnout? What was it, quickly turn us out? So the geezer, the Polish geezer starts crying about game, you know?
She had a good week then.
Yeah, absolutely superb. I think I'll put the final nail in the coffin when I try to get in the oven and all that.
A group of the Chelsea headhunters, led by Frayne, paid a visit to Auschwitz concentration camp. I got a postcard from them, a picture of the camp. On the back it said, Combat 18 Headhunter Division. Wish you were here. We've just dug up the bones of your grandmother and pissed all over them. This is the mentality of these people. I mean, sheer bitter hatred. But the fact is, they do these trips. If there's a match in Warsaw, they'll make a stop off in Auschwitz. If they're in Germany, I had another card from Dachau.
Outside, tension is mounting as Danish fans start targeting Chelsea.
It's down there, and they're going to do it.
Okay, we're going to go back to the hotel. Let's go.
I don't make it.
Fuck off.
I'm attacked by Copenhagen fans.
Jesus Christ!
The fighting continues as I search frantically for one of my colleagues.
Where's Mike? Mike!
He's with us. He just got knowledge, mate. One of the unfortunate consequences of pretending to be a football hooligan is that you become a target for the violence of other football hooligans. I've just been beaten up, kicked, punched and kicked and thrown in on the street by a bunch of football supporters from FC Copenhagen, so some of my travelling companions. I believe in Copenhagen with just a few bruises, but apart from that, I'm all right.
Our trip to Copenhagen has brought me closer to Jason's inner circle and also shown me a more sinister side to his hooliganism, a side I hadn't seen before, his extreme right-wing views. For him, politics, patriotism and loyalty to the headhunters form a dangerous mix. In Jason's hands, they add up to violence. Jason and I fly back to London. I have been blooded, and Jason is happy to tell me about his past glories.
So now, no one on their back to attack Chelsea. I've been to Millwall. Last game of the season we played, we got off at Elephant and Castle and we marched. Our snipers marched. We was 500 pounds. And afterwards, my mentor was. I said to him, phone me up. happened, Jason? He said, none of our lads are in. I said, they are they? I said, we're walking over the Greg. I said, they're in there. He said, no, I said, they are. I said, they're, you know, filming the lily pad. And I said, I'm telling you. You're trying to, it's too early, you can't have it now, you can't have it now. What do you mean too early? We're calling the shots now. We're on your manor, we're calling the shots. It's too early, so I said, it's never fucking too early. It was never too late after a game of football, is it? Game finished at the quarter to 5, if you ever out at 10 o'clock at night, ain't too late, so it ain't too early. Put the phone down, it was fuming. It was. I said, they said it's too early. Come on, let's get the troops. We're there, we're there. You staying out with us, yeah?
I will be out for a while, mate. We'll be out.
Jason isn't the only one who is beginning to reveal his world to me.
These are my good mates. I love these lot.
After several months, Reading hooligan and trainee headhunter Danny Walford begins to take me into his confidence.
You know, cheers, mate. We got a youth firm, yeah? And you're probably the oldest.
Is there actually a youth firm? Yeah. You actually travel two separate firms?
No, we go together, but...
We call ourselves the Reading Youth Firm. It's about...
Oh, well, yeah.
Reading Youth.
We had about 40, 50
Oh, wow.
We went to Oxford, yeah, there was 110 Reading went, there was about 40 or 50 youth.
Yeah.
And oh mate, we can have it, right? I'm not saying that because I'm Reading and I'm in it. We have Bristol City and they've got a fucking firm. And we smashed them at Paddington, 8 of us. Their top lad, yeah, he's called Shannon. Right, I smashed him with an iron bar. Right, from there, he come out, he got it from there, and it was cut down to there.
For Danny, violence is obviously the most thrilling thing in his life.
I was fucking hitting him with that, and then his mates joined in. I love it, mate, I do. I love it. Cheers, mate.
Back in Hampton Hill, I drive around in a hired Mercedes, trying to look like somebody worth knowing well. Jason thinks I've paid £40,000 for it. The reality is, I hire it for £35 on days I know Jason is going to see it. But the car has another purpose. It is rigged with secret cameras, so I can record my conversations with Jason and his friends. I take the car to watch Jason play football. When he was younger, Jason had been offered professional trials. He still believes he has some of the old magic left. But sadly, things don't always go according to plan. After the match, Jason is on his way to the Chelsea game against West Ham. I offer him a lift.
Well in, brother.
Oh, I'm fucked. Good game, mate. Cheers, chaps.
Sweet.
Yeah, very, I mean, you know. Have you got any idea where you're going? No. Oh, don't start all that.
Do it right.
Do right, yeah.
Blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. Yeah, right, Ted. Yeah, right, Ted. That's all you're here today.
Jason is excited at the prospect of the game, but he keeps up a flow of racist abuse.
Fuck off, you black. But enough of yous lot there, mate, today. He fucking got his eyes shut, that old baboon. He thinks he's in the fucking tree. Why you kick my dog, call it fuck off. Actually, I just fucking thought. I settled 3 of them goals up, didn't I? I just fucking thought of that.
Yeah, the cracking game.
I make a regular appointment to watch Jason play football. On the sidelines, Jason reveals an impressive spread of tattoos. I realise now why he was so unimpressed by mine. The one on his leg reads like his motto: when we're good, they never remember. When we're bad, they never forget. A few weeks later, and I meet Jason outside McDonald's again, this time to find out his plans for the coming match against Leicester.
I don't know. I'm in so many fucking different minds. I was going to drive up and drive home, and go on the Friday, see?
Now I haven't got a game on a Sunday. I might I don't know what to do. Do you know what I mean? Because I might have the light out now.
Yeah.
Might have a drink.
Well,
I know a drink. Well,
that's the thing, you know.
We're meeting early. We're meeting at probably Loughborough, which is one stop after Leicester. There's we've got 3 coaches going. We've got minibus from fucking minibus from, we've got. It's naughty. Leicester will be naughty.
Yeah.
Leicester will be naughty. Yeah.
Naughty means Jason is planning trouble.
Oh, we'll be all right, man. We'll be all right.
In order to see his planning in action, I offer him a lift in the car. But when he turns up a few days later, he brings 2 friends.
Okay, I'm saying nothing. If you ask about Northern Ireland, you interject.
I'm going to get out and meet.
One of them is Andy Frayne, the most dangerous of the headhunters, and a man with strong links to both extreme loyalists and the far right. I've spent months trying to meet him. Suddenly he's in the back of my car, and it all feels very different. Andy and Jason are helping coordinate 150 Chelsea hooligans as they travel up the M1 for a showdown with the Leicester fans.
Hello, Dave. It's Nightmare. All right, are you on the road yet?
The coaches start from different points and take different routes. The drivers don't know it, but this is to avoid the police.
Yeah, they got 150. Said they're at Amsterdam causing grief. I don't know what they're doing. They said there's another coach coming from Cheam. Somewhere in Cheam.
Yeah.
He said they're going the back door. They're going to M1 something A something 6 or something like that. He said, yeah, so I'm still sat on the coach. He said they're all out causing trouble. Them all Hempstead.
So they're
Yeah. I said, right, how many have we got? We're up to full strength. So that'll do. Beers are flowing, he said. Swinging beer, snorting Charlie and eating sandwiches.
I might not even go into the game.
Oh, stick with us, kid.
I'm beginning to wonder what I've got myself into. I chew gum and smile nervously to try and cover up how uncomfortable I feel.
That's John. John, where are you? What coach you on? It's a what? I've fucking just passed you.
No.
I've just passed you.
On the side of it.
Does it say London coaches, Ken?
Right in front of him's a white transit.
Are you, listen to me, are you in a white London coach, Kent coach? I'm just in front of you.
Frayne has brought the phone number of a Leicester contact in order to confirm the details of the fight.
Dolby! It's the nightmare calling. Got your boys ready? We'll have starters before the coach gets here.
Yeah. Yes.
We'll have a one-on-one with you,
Tell them we're in
Dolby.
Hinkley. Don't tell them where we are.
There it is there. There it's called for God's sake.
Tell them we're 40-handed. Tell them we only got 30, 40. They turn up because they like to outnumber us, don't they? No, phone them now. Get them on the phone.
Yeah, where's it look like? It's half 11.
Get the man out of bed.
Yeah.
It's not terrorising him before he's even had a cup of tea. He's shaking. He won't be able to eat to be physically sick.
Yeah, he goes to his house now.
Yeah. We're outside your front door, mate. Open the door,
Open the door. Postman's arrived. Special delivery for Mr. Dolby.
Do you remember?
A previous fight had been called off because Leicester brought too few hooligans.
I said, you'll be dead in fucking 2 seconds. I said, you've come here fucking 5-handed. I said, take me out after you. Well done. I said, we got 50 geezers here. We'll just rip your head off. You're not dealing with muppets here. And he said, oh, all right. We'll go back and tell him. I said, best you trot along now, mate. We was on the phone. We're coming. Right, you know what I mean? Only 32 of us. We had 60 arms waiting as well. They sent their advance guard to come and get us. And then we got to run fucking traffic. I swear to God, there must have been 70-old Bill. Yeah, the whole, there was about 30 fucking police wagons. They just arrested every one of them. I got a pocket full of Ku Klux Klan calling cars. That didn't go down too well. Yeah. So they got us in the jail. I was getting bailed.
But the worst was yet to come. Jason reminds Andy of the day he slashed a policeman's neck.
17 of us, they remanded, yeah.
He slapped the kid he slapped the geezer in the face, Andy did, and he said, I'm a policeman, so go on, have some more. He had his throat proper cut.
you can't do that, I'm an off-duty policeman. I said, shut up, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, nobody can see us. And his bird just run off hysterical. We was laughing then. He said, oh shit, we better get out of here.
It's no laughing matter because there was a police victim that day. The incident is recorded in the files. The policeman needed scores of stitches. Frayne has never been caught. Eventually we stopped for petrol. Having seen the organisation Andy Frayne has put into today, I begin to understand how the police can spend millions every year just keeping tabs on the hooligans. Andy Frayne is obviously impressed with the car.
Sweet motor, isn't it? Hey? That's what you call style, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that white.
It's a S-Reg and Mercedes.
It's a nice colour, mate. It's fucking...
How much is this worth?
I don't know a lot about motors.
25 grand?
Yeah, at least.
30 grand. You don't want no money to pay, do you? I said, no, he said, no, I said.
But he's not sure about me yet.
What do you think?
No, yet. Hello, mate. All right, listen. You know that boozer? Is that in Market Harborough? Oh, Narborough, because we're at the junction now, Narborough. All right, then. OK, then.
Mariner and Frayne's coordination works, and 3 coachloads of Chelsea turn up at a village miles away from the Leicester ground. But the Leicester fans don't show up. Instead, there's a reception committee from the local police.
Who coaches? I think
This outcome is no surprise to Jason.
they won't turn up here. Nah. Didn't you hear what the Bill said to me? Haven't you phoned them up yet? I don't care what they say. Some of our phones are tapped, man. Oh, yeah, I've got you. They fucking do their homework about you. They do their homework, man.
I say goodbye to Andy Frayne, who never had any intention of going to the match. He just came to Leicester for a fight. Jason is travelling the last miles to the ground by coach, his plans for violence temporarily foiled. I leave him knowing that his pent-up violence must find an outlet somewhere. And on the way home, I listen to the radio with a sinking heart.
Bit of aggravation in the crowd during the game with coins being thrown. And I think you're about to say some aggravation afterwards.
Absolutely dreadful, David.
Tell me about it.
We were walking up the road and were charged by a group of absolute thugs.
How many of them?
There was about 20 in the group that I saw in the first sort of wave, shouting, goading and punching and kicking indiscriminately.
All right, mate.
Later that week, Jason tells me what happened in Leicester.
Ah, it was fucking going berserk, wasn't it? It's going berserk. So what happened? Ah, it was just fucking left, right and centre. It was just happening, you know what I mean? Just fucking in the grounds, where it normally happens in the grounds, you know what I mean? Where they like in the corner bit, you know what I mean? They stand there and we're here.
Saw a chap had a mobile phone and he was in hysterics and laughing away, and I think he was possibly giving information to his fellow cohort that they'd had a little rumble. The child we were with was absolutely terrified. He's come home, put his hat and scarf down and told his mum that he doesn't want to go to football again.
Oh, that's awful. How old is he?
He's 7.
After the violence, Jason didn't go home. Instead, he went for a drink to mark a special occasion. 5 Chelsea had been charged with this attack earlier in the year. 2 of them were expecting to be sent to prison. The attack was on some Tottenham Hotspur fans in central London. The Chelsea used iron bars to beat the opposing fans and then smashed up the pub. The people leading the charge are 2 notorious brothers, the Sims twins, vicious headhunters and close friends of Jason and Andy Frayne. Jason and Andy were there too, masked by the kiosk.
Me being the right sort, but they only nicked the people that were holding tools. That's what I mean, Nightmare, Tunica Valley, like, you know, a couple of top boys there didn't get nicked as well, because we was just fucking, you know, having it sort of thing.
Not only did the police fail to arrest Jason, Frayne and the others, but the twins who led the attack were sentenced to just 2.5 years. With parole, they will only serve 15 months. I'm about to discover that team loyalty isn't everything. When there is a prospect of serious violence, firms from different teams link up to fight other sets of hooligans.
Good night in the town last night.
Danny Walford has brought his Reading youth firm to travel with Millwall for a pre-arranged fight at the game against Manchester City. It seems hardcore hooligans will go anywhere there is likely to be a fight. In Manchester, the tension is mounting. There was trouble last year when City came to London, and Millwall see this as a chance for revenge. I leave Danny and his friends as they go into the ground. Danny already has his hood up to hide his face from the CCTV cameras. I can sense trouble brewing, and I don't want to be involved. My suspicions were right. It kicks off inside the ground. The violence continues after the match, and despite my best efforts, I'm still caught up in it.
Superintendent Clive Wolfendale has rung in about this Manchester City-Millwall game.
It's dangerous here, isn't it?
I've been policing games at Main Road one way or another for 22 years, and today was a sad return to some rather dismal, dimmer days of the past.
I think this is a side of football that we don't focus on enough, you know, the mindless violence and the sense that people are, you know, they're not making an appointment to go and watch a game, they're making an appointment to go and have a bundle.
That's exactly what they were doing, and you could see at the end that there were families with young children looking quite terrified. That should be what a football match is all about.
If it's not Millwall's making a fuss of it, City and they're raining missiles down on the police here, and we're just keeping out of the way, trying to keep safe.
It was the season's biggest outbreak of violence.
Every police station in South Manchester is full of people arrested before, during and after the game.
Some of those involved in the fighting were not arrested, as Danny told me back in London.
We had it with Man United just after you left us.
They'd also had a pre-arranged fight with the Manchester United firm.
You know railway tracks?
Yeah.
They go like that, don't they? And then they've got the bits that go like that.
Yeah.
You know the coil bits, what screw them together? I threw one of them at a Man U fan, and he fucking never heard someone scream in my life.
Where hit him, mate?
For Danny, violence is a way of life.
Fucking fighting us like that, bang, through the window, fighting him. And he's fucking, that's all on camera, and I just got a t-shirt and a pair of jeans on. No hat or nothing. I'm gutted.
This time, Danny's been caught on camera, but arrest and prosecution hold little fear.
I mean, what was
he gave as good as he got until I fucking lashed him round the head with it a few times. It snapped. It snapped, right? It was about that long, and it had a big paddle bit on the end, and I fucking hit him about 3 times, and it snapped every time I hit him. So I got the paddle bit up, and I was fucking hitting him with that. And
Danny sees prison as a rite of passage, and he thinks his good friend Andy Frayne will look after him.
I don't care, who gives a fuck? It's good to get a bit of time under your belt anyway.
It's good to get a bit of time.
Frayne, he'll look after me anyway. He knows so many people.
Nightmare! He's done time?
Has he done time? He's done about 10 years altogether.
Frayne was telling us about when he was last in, they put him on this, anger management course.
That's what they want me to go on.
No! Who wants you to go on that, mate?
Anger management course and a drinking course, you know.
Who said that?
Alcoholics, fucking... I ain't an alcoholic, though. Frayne, he'll look after me anyway.
Instead of those kids finding decent role models, the Andy Fraynes of this world become their role models. And that's why it's very important that they're removed from society, because that's a cancer that spreads.
Andy Frayne seems to have almost a mythical status among the hooligans. he's at the centre of the most chilling moments of my year undercover as a hooligan. This march commemorates Bloody Sunday, the day 27 years ago when 14 Catholic